It is finally here. The huge patch that the community and Frost Giant have been working on in tandem has finally hit the live client. This huge update contains a plethora of visual and audio updates, new units, new abilities, Celestial's entire rework, 2v2 ranked, and even community-made ladder and arcade maps, including one made by yours truly. This patch of course includes a huge amount of balance changes. This video is entirely focused on those balance changes and not all the rest of the content that comes along with this patch. We'll start with the generic changes that affect all factions. All HQs now start with 1 worker charge and max out at 3 instead of 3 they started on before. All factions now start with 50 Luminite, and pretty much all workers now cost 50 across the board. Vanguard and Infernal's workers have been slightly more optimized. This means that the recommended that is displayed above bases is now 10 rather than 12. You can still go up to 12, it's just those last 2 workers are a bit lazy. Therium has also been updated to make it generally more available during the early game. The updates are a little bit complicated, so I'll try to go into it as quickly as I can. Starting off, Therium is revealed at the beginning of the game in order to make building placement a bit easier during for bases. Inf and Vanguard now carry more for each worker. Finally, to make tiering up for all 3 factions feel more significant, the cost of tiering up has been increased. Going from tier 1 to tier 2 now costs 200 Luminite, 100 Therium, and from tier 2 to tier 3 costs 300 Luminite and 200 Therium. Alright, let's get into the Vanguard changes. Starting off with the servos. Servos have had their recharge time cooldown decreased from 25 seconds to 19 seconds. Their HP has been reduced from 110 to 95. Their move speed has been increased from 3.5 to 4. Their attack swing time, which is basically the startup on their attacks, has been decreased from 0.5 seconds to 0.25 seconds. Servo overcharge now has an indicator. It decreases the armor provided from before. Its construction speed bonus has been decreased from 50% down to 25. The duration of the effect has been decreased from 45 seconds down to 35 seconds. The upgrade is now cheaper at 50 Luminite, 50 Therium, whilst providing 10 seconds increased duration, and the movement speed bonus provided by the upgrade has been decreased from 50% down to 25%. Command posts have had their supply provided decreased from 15 down to 12. The central command, which is tier 2, has had its build time increased from 30 seconds to 50 seconds, and high command, tier 3, has had its energy regen set to 1. You can see its energy regen compared to a normal HQ here. And the solar habitat can no longer be used on headquarters. Rampart's reinforceability has been redesigned to prevent healing from making the effect nearly infinite. It now grants a 500 health shield that lasts 10 seconds and blocks 90% of incoming damage. Sentry post build time has been increased from 45 to 55. The flat cannon's damage has been increased from 22 to 22 plus 4 versus heavy. The Repairmatic and Med Station no longer heal the units inside of them. The Biokinetics Lab and the Machine Lab have both had their build times reduced from 50 seconds down to 30. Moving on to unit changes. Lancers have had their damage changed from 12 plus 3 versus light and structures to 15. Their tier 3 upgrade Mitigative Guard, still really hard to say, has been reworked. This ability now gives 3 stacks of reactive plate. Each stack regens every 60 seconds, and each plate reduces damage received that is more than 30, making them significantly better versus siege weapons and heavy units. Kinetic Redirection, their first upgrade, has had their research time decreased from 90 seconds down to 60. Scouts have had their build time decreased from 18 down to 15. Their damage has been increased from 5 plus 3 versus light to 5 plus 5 versus light. Their Pounce ability has been renamed to Rundown. Rundown has been reworked, its impact damage has been removed, and it now slows the target by 30%. Its cooldown has been decreased from 30 seconds down to 20 seconds, and is no longer triggered by Stormgates. Its research cost has been decreased from 100-100 to 50-50. Its Beryllium Claw's bonus damage has been increased. Before, it provided a flat plus 8 versus light, for a total of 5 plus 11 versus light. Now it provides a flat plus 5 versus light, which basically doubles their damage. Exos! They've had their damage increased from 13 plus 2 versus heavy to 13 plus 3! I'm not kidding, that actually is all the changes for Exos. Medtechs now require a biolab rather than tier 2. Nanoswarm's heal has been reduced from 20 per second to 15 per second. And Nanoswarm's damage has been reduced from 10 per second down to 7 per second. Finally, Nanoswarm's energy cost has been reduced from 40 down to 30. The Graven has effectively been reworked. Sticky Bomb is now a skill shot and can stack on enemies. Sticky Bombs will immediately detonate if the unit they're attached to is killed. Their cast range has been increased from 6 to 7. It can also be cast on friendlies, but it prioritizes enemies over friendlies. Its infiltrate ability has been removed and has been replaced with Sonic Disruptors. The ability costs 40 energy, is a circle in the ground, and does 10 plus 5 damage versus light, and reduces the attack speed of air units by 50% for 5 seconds in a radius of 3. This drone stays active for 2 seconds. Both Graven upgrades now give a 0.25 energy per second increase. Its old upgrades have been removed. These are instead replaced by Sabotage, which gives the Sticky Bombs extra bonus damage versus structures and disables them for a period of time, and Phase Jumper, which gives the Graven a second leap. Hedgehogs have had their HP decreased from 230 to 205, and they have new missiles on the model. They have a tier 3 upgrade called Armor Shredding Missiles. Each attack applies a -1 armor stack, which can stack up to 90 times. This also has a different model for the missile VFX. Both the Atlas and the Hedgehog have gained the Targeted Deploy ability, which allows them to deploy at a given location. Vulcan's Peak Performance upgrade now gives +10 armor. Hornet's Skymine arming duration has been increased from 2 seconds up to 3.5 seconds. Hornets also have a new upgrade, Stalker Drive, which gives the Hornet stealth. They also have a new VFX on their air attack to signify that it's stronger than its grounded attack. The Hurricane, oh my god, this unit is one of the best units in the game now, Jesus Christ. Its attack range has been increased from 4 to 5. Bombing run cooldown has been decreased from 30 seconds to 20 seconds. You can compare the cooldowns down here in the bottom corners. Bombing run range has been decreased from 25 down to 20. Its HP has been increased from 600 to 700. Bombers also no longer gain veterancy. They gain veterancy level based on the Hurricane that it's tied to, meaning that the little guys don't just steal veterancy. Return to Hangar now accelerates to max speed over 2 seconds rather than an instant speed boost. And finally, the evac. The evac has had its unload period decreased from 0.5 down to 0.25. It's also had its base speed increased from 6.5 up to 7. Right, on to the Celestial changes. Prisms have had their charge cooldown increased from 14 seconds to 20 seconds. As mentioned earlier, their cost has been increased from 40 to the standard of 50. Their move speed has been decreased from 5.5 to 4, again to bring them in line with all the other workers. Their HP has been increased from 60 to 85. And finally, their weapon range has been increased from 1.5 to 1.75. The HP on collection arrays has been increased from 600 to 1200, and collection arrays now have a power cost increase from 8 to 10. For all of the Celestial HQs, their power provided has been decreased from 20 to 15. They can now recharge charges for prisms whilst flying. Their footprint has been decreased from 6x6 to 4x4. Now all HQs have a little light indicator when an array can be built. Celestial Hyperdrive, the upgrade which gives Arc ships bonus movement speed, has had its bonus increased from 50% to 100%. Arc ships have had their build cost increased from 300 to 400. Their build time has been increased from 30 seconds to 45 seconds. Their HP has been decreased from 1200 down to 800. Tiering up to Tier 2's build time has been increased from 40 seconds up to 50. Arc Station's HP has been decreased from 1800 down to 1600. Power Surge now increases construction speed by 100%. Zenith Scan now requires an Arc Station. Purify has been added to the Flying Arc Station. All nodes have had their cost increased from 100 Luminite to 150 Luminite. Matter reallocation, the ability that allowed buildings to turn into a morph core, has had its refund amount for nodes increased from 25 to 50. Grace Light node's starting energy has been reduced from 50 to 25. Both the Energizer node and Adjudicator node can now be built independently. When constructed, a Grace Light node is built first, and then it automatically morphs into the corresponding node. Energizer node has had its autocast range decreased by 2. Adjudicator node has had its armor increased from 10 to 20. It's had its attack damage increased from 28 to 30, and its weapon period has been increased from 0.9 to 1. Onto the unit changes. Generally, across the board, a lot of projectile speeds have been increased. Argents, Seraphims, Scanners, and Animancers, for example. Argents have had their damage increased from 11 plus 3 versus heavy to 13. Their high energy has been reworked. Instead of firing one large shot, they now deal 3 smaller charged shots. The total damage remains unchanged, but damage from Argents is now more consistent. Argents now start with 25 energy instead of starting with 0, and they no longer regenerate energy by targeting friendly units or structures. Their speed has been decreased from 5.5 to 5, and the Heaven Step research now gives Argents 0.5 movement speed. The Scanners had its HP increased from 50 to 70, it's had its build time decreased from 20 to 15, it's had its speed increased from 7 to 8.25, it's had its attack range increased from 3.5 to 8, its attack damage has been decreased from 5 to 1. Tag Research is now available at Tier 1. Tag also lowers the armor of tagged units by 50. Tag Cast Range has been increased from 10 to 12. Tag Duration has been decreased from 30 down to 20. Tag Research Time has been decreased from 60 seconds down to 30, and they now have a Tier 2 upgrade called Stunning Shot. When Scanners attack an enemy unit with the Tag debuff, those units are stunned for 0.75 seconds and then slowed for 25% for 2 seconds. Units are going to be stunned this way once every 6 seconds. Cabals have had their cost reduced from 100-100 to 175. Debilitate has been reworked. Instead of reducing the movement speed of a unit, it now reduces the attack speed of units and any enemy unit touching the unit. Debilitate's range has been decreased from 12 to 10. Gravity Flux can no longer be autocast. Gravity Flux's range has been increased from 8 to 10. Mind Shackle now channels, preventing the move command from cancelling it. Mind Shackle can now be used on ground units or units targeted by Gravity Flux. Vectors have had their air and ground attacks both set to the same thing, which is 8 plus 3 versus light. Their movement speed has been increased from 6 to 6.75. Their Delta Jump cooldown has been increased from 15 seconds to 17 seconds. After jumping, they no longer take increased damage. Research Recall's cost has been increased from 50-50 to 100-100. Research Recall's research time has been decreased from 90 seconds down to 60. The movement speed bonus given by Research Recall has now been decreased from 1.5 down to 1. Recall now has a 2-second cooldown before it can be used again. Vectors now have a new Tier 3 upgrade called Temporal Reflections. Whenever the Vector jumps or recalls, it drops a little hologram on the ground which can attack for 50% of its damage, and the damage then heals the Vector. The Scythe has been removed by pure hatred of Gobsmack. The Seraphim now fills the same role as the Scythe. Its attacks now hit ground and air units. Its HP has been increased from 165 to 180. Its attack range has been reverted to 6. Its damage versus air is 14. Its damage versus ground is 22. It has a slightly different animation for its grounded attack to show that it's stronger. Its weapon period has been increased from 1 to 1.3. Both its old abilities have been removed and replaced with new ones. Its first ability is effectively a mana shield. While the unit has energy, it will take less damage. Each instance of damage reduces the energy that it has. It has a dash ability which increases its movement speed over a couple of seconds, and it has an upgrade called Research Catalytic Capacitors. This upgrade gives the Seraphim an on-kill effect that allows them to cleanse themselves and gain 20 energy. Saber has had its cost increased from 225, 125 to 250 and 125. Attack damage has been increased from 40 plus 50 versus heavy to 60 plus 50 versus heavy. Its range has been increased from 11 to 14. It now requires an Ascension Matrix. Its Core Ascendancy upgrade now requires an Arc Fortress, and Core Ascendancy also increases the move speed of Sabers by 1. Animancers have had their HP decreased from 220 down to 180. Dark Prophecy is now unlocked from Animancer Adept training, whereas Unseen Veil is now unlocked from Animancer Master training. Dark Prophecy's range has been increased from 9 to 11. Animus Redistribution's range has been increased from 9 to 10. Animus Redistribution's drain per second has been increased from 20 health per second and 20 energy per second to 24 health per second and 24 energy per second. Unseen Veil's movement speed bonus has been increased from 25% to 50%. Archangels have had their HP increased from 650 to 900. Archangels' attack swings are now much more responsive. Starting energy has been reduced to 25 with their energy regen set to 0.5. Meteor Strike has been reworked, its energy cost has been reduced from 50 down to 30, its area damage has been reduced from 100 down to 50, it also slows impacted enemies by 60% for 5 seconds. The duration the Archangel is stunned upon using this ability has been decreased from 1.4 seconds to 0.5 seconds. Archangels have now gained the Sensor ability. It costs 30 energy, 8 second cooldown, leaps towards a target and stuns it. This ability can be used both in the air and on the ground. Finally, they have the Reprieve ability. Reprieve regenerates health and gives armor to the Archangel. Finally, on to the Infernals. Imps have had their charge cooldown decreased from 18 seconds to 15. They've had their attack range decreased from 3 to 2. They've had their movement speed increased from 3.5 to 4. And Imps now have a +4 damage versus structures. Inflamed Imps now have their HP decreased from 80 down to 60. Their damage has been increased from 50 plus 30 versus heavy to 80 plus 30 versus heavy. Flame On now stuns an imp for 10 seconds while it morphs. Inflame Imps don't specifically target Stormgates or non-hostile structures unless specifically commanded to. Its attack range has been decreased from 2 to 1, but its missile speed has been increased. Inflamed Imps no longer have a timed life. Inflamed Imps can no longer be picked up by transports. This is explained through a trait called Fire Hazard. And finally, the Inflamed Imp has been given the ability to manually self-destruct it, exploding and dealing damage nearby, while trees caught in the explosion radius are also destroyed. All Infernal HQs have had their supply provided reduced from 15 to 12. Shrine's cost has been increased from 300 to 350. Greater Shrine's build time has been increased from 30 seconds to 50 seconds. Elder Shrine now requires a Twilight Spire or a Blood Tree instead of specifically a Twilight Spire. Hellspawn Resurgence now restores 2 charges, and it can no longer target HQs. Using Hellspawn Resurgence on a structure prevents it from being used on that same structure again for 75 seconds. This is displayed with this in-game effect. Tribute Pyres have had their build time increased from 10 to 15. Tribute Pyre's HP has been decreased from 400 to 300. Gremlin HP has been decreased from 65 down to 25, and Gremlin's spawn rate has been decreased from every 20 seconds to every 15 seconds. Shroudstone's cost has been increased from 100 Luminite to 150 Luminite. Its HP has been increased from 350 to 425, and its damage has been increased from 40 to 50. Iron Vaults, Conclaves, and Twilight Spires have had a change to their charge system. Each building now holds 2 charges. Buildings now start with 0 charges when finishing construction, down from 1. Charge cooldown time has been decreased from 35 seconds down to 30 seconds. And the build time on all 3 of these structures has been decreased from 80 seconds down to 32 seconds. Finally, the Blood Tree now requires a Tier 2 shrine instead of a Twilight Spire. And the Darkness Spreads upgrade is now here on the Blood Tree instead. Onto the unit changes. Brutes have had their Sunder Soul threshold for providing 2 fiends decreased from 90% down to 75%. Their cost has been decreased from 150 Luminite to 125. Their cargo size has been rightfully increased from 1 to 2. Fiend Explosion has been renamed to Obsidian Horde and now increases Brute's armor by 10. And the Obsidian Horde upgrade now gives Fiends an extra 15 HP. Fiend's on-shroud and off-shroud damage has been matched to 10. Fiend's Armor Rend ability now requires the Infernal Fury upgrade, and Armor Rend's armor reduction has been increased from 2 per hit to 4 per hit. Hellborn's outer radius has been decreased from 1.3 to 1. Their damage has been changed from 30 plus 45 versus heavy to 30 plus 20 versus heavy and plus 10 versus structures. And they have a new ability called Inferno. They got their little cone attacks back. This effect applies a damage over time to the enemies targeted, but does not reduce healing as the old effect used to do. Magmadons now require a Blood Tree, and Trample now periodically stuns as a baseline. Trample's damage has been increased from 100 plus 50 versus heavy to 150. their attack damage has been changed from 40 plus 25 versus heavy to 50. Gaunts have had their movement speed increased from 5 to 5.5. Their bounce damage on their attacks has been increased from 2 plus 0.5 versus light to 2 plus 1 versus light. And Soulbound Chakram's cost has been increased from 25-25 to 50-50. Its research time has also been increased from 30 seconds to 60 seconds. Hexens have seen 2 of their 3 abilities reworked. Skull of Shaja now deals less damage, but now slows a target by 40% for 10 seconds. The timed life on the skull has been decreased from 30 seconds to 15. Forsaken Trap, the Mine ability, has been renamed to Phantom Trap. Trap Detonation is now an ability which can be manually triggered. Each unit hit gets cursed, takes 50 damage, and spawns a phantom. Finally, Hexen have lost their Shadow Weave ability, which allowed them to teleport back to HQs. Weaver's HP has been reduced from 380 down to 350. Lash's energy cost has been reduced from 40 down to 30. Their starting energy has been reduced to 25, and their energy regen has been set to 1 mana every 2 seconds. They have a new ability called Shrouded Cloak. Shrouded Cloak grants stealth to allies in a targeted radius. The effect lasts 30 seconds, and stealth can be reactivated by entering Shroud, and is removed by leaving Shroud. They have 2 new upgrades, Research Adept Training and Research Master Training. Both of them increase the energy regen rate of Weepers by 0.25. Research Adept Training unlocks the Shrouded Cloak ability, and Research Master Training unlocks the Dark Lore trait, which gives lower cooldown to Lash while using it on Shroud. Dive Bomb now does a small amount of damage, and reduces the armour of all units and structures in the area by 50 for 20 seconds. Harbinger's Landing has been reworked to ignore units beneath it. Because of this, its stun duration has been decreased from 2 seconds to 1.75. Spriggans have been reverted to be closer to the Spriggan from patch 0.3, where they spawn a single Spriggan instead of a pair. Their damage has been changed from a single projectile doing 8 damage plus 3 versus heavy, to 3 projectiles doing 3 damage plus 3 versus heavy. As such, their supply cost has been increased from 1 to 3, their HP has been increased from 80 HP to 160, and Binding Saliva now reduces attack speed, movement speed, and production speed by 2%. Finally, the Flayed Dragon. The Flayed Dragon now requires a Twilight Spire. Charges for the dragon still only exist on the Elder Shrine. It shares charges with the Incarnate, a new unit for the Infernal. Its HP has been increased from 700 to 900. Blighted Breath's cast range has been increased from 4 to 8. Blighted Breath's cooldown has been decreased from 15 to 10. It's gained the Resilient tag, and its turn rate has been increased to improve microability. And that is everything. I haven't actually gone into the 4 new units that are in the game. Instead, I'm just going to give you a couple of clips of them now, and you can have a play around with them yourselves. This video was a huge amount of work, so if you found this useful or enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Thank you to everyone who assisted with this, their names are in the descriptions. I hope to see you on the ladder or in custom games, and if I don't, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.